Hey, beautiful friends. Welcome back to the Spirit Essence Show. I'm Tara Diana. I'm an empowerment medium, and this is where we do all the spiritual chit chat. I am super excited to be bringing together two spiritual, intuitive, metaphysical practitioners who are going to have a heartfelt conversation with me about something they know nothing. Well, that's not true. It's not that they're going to know nothing about. They just don't know what the topic is yet. So I am very, very excited to introduce you all first to Adrienne Amari. She is a intuitive tarot reader. She is, oh my goodness, she's a whole bunch of stuff. She's a clarity coach, but she loves her tarot. And she's just really stepped into the past life work, which I'm excited for her because I've done past life work for so long, and it is one of the most intriguing things you can do in the metaphysical world. So welcome to our space. Adrienne, do you want to tell a little bit about yourself before we go on to...
Yeah, thank you so much for having me here, first and foremost. I started reading tarot. I was introduced to tarot when I was a kid, and I stick with nothing. So I did pick it up much later in life again, and tarot is the one thing that has stuck with me. And I'm like, you know what? If it sticks, I'm just going to go with it. So, and then through tarot, I've just really been able to explore all sorts of different things. And I love the curiosity. I love learning new things. I love seeing where the spiritual world can take us, but also the scientific world. I love blending them together. I'm from Ontario, Canada, so I'll throw that in there as well. And I'm just excited to see what we have to talk about today.
Okay, I'm excited someone likes the science stuff, because that ain't me. I'm not that person. I will be the person who'll be like, oh, you're going to give me facts? I'll catch you later. But I love that for people because it's so much easier for someone else to talk about that and me to be like, are you kidding? Oh my God, I did not know. And so I feel good. So again, thank you so much for being here, Adrienne. Okay, let's go to Stellar Fae Readings. This is Jennie. She's part of the Spirit Essence Collective, everyone. You can go and check her out on our page, www.spiritessencebytaradiana.com. Hit the collective button, scroll down, you'll see all the beautiful people that work with me. I'm so blessed. Jennie, who are you?
Hello, everyone. Thank you for having me, Tara. I'm Jennie. Stellar Fae Readings is my handle and who I go by. I am a psychic medium, and I do my mediumship through interpretation of the oracle cards. And I've been doing it for quite a few years now, and I love it. So that's me. That
is her, and I can attest to her. And we actually, Jennie and I are from Vancouver, so it's all Canadian today. I love that. This is supposed to be fun. This is where there's no right and no wrong in the conversation. This is where everyone's opinions are their opinions, and we can agree to disagree, or we just go forth and slay. And most of the time, we go forth and slay. So this is the fun part. This is where we start talking about the question. Dun dun dun. I have to get some kind of little sound bits.
Yeah.
Right? I need a sound bit for that because I've done that 3 times now. Dun dun dun. And it's much better if it came from somewhere else other than me. Okay. So you ladies, are we ready?
Yes.
Okay, spiritual people out there watching this, and maybe not so spiritual people out there watching it. Here's the question. Do you believe progress available? Now, just think about that for a second. It sounds kind of weird when you say it like that, but that's the way we say it. Do you believe progress available? Let me give you a little bit more. No matter what a soul has done in any lifetime, there is no action so bad that a soul will be eliminated. Oh, there's so much to talk about here. There is always hope. Now I'm going to repeat it one more time. Do you believe progress available? No matter what a soul has done in any lifetime, there is no action so bad that a soul will be eliminated. There is always hope. I've never even thought about a soul being eliminated. Let's go, lady.
I haven't either. So it's a very interesting question. I always believe in hope, first and foremost. So yes, I believe progress is always possible. I don't think a soul can be eliminated.
I agree. I don't think a soul can be eliminated. That feels very churchy to me, or very organized religion like to me, which of course we all know, if you know me, you know, doesn't resonate with me. So the fact that eliminated, how is that even possible? You know, if we believe in reincarnation, then we don't choose, so to speak, to be eliminated. Like we there's nothing up there in the great goodness of the God of your understanding, or the goddess, or the whomever. I can't picture that. That word right there strikes me. There's no action so bad that a soul will be eliminated. It kind of defeats the whole purpose of coming down to earth and working to be ascended.
Yeah. That's how I feel too. Like, if our purpose here is to learn and to progress and to maybe do better, sometimes maybe do worse too, to learn from that lesson, how can you be so bad that you just don't get that chance again?
Jennie?
Totally. I believe that we are sent here in every lifetime to learn a lesson and to progress, and to then finally not be eliminated, but to ascend. So that's my belief structure. So I don't know. I don't see if every lifetime is a lesson. No matter what you do, you come here, you either learn the lesson, maybe you have to learn the lesson again in a different lifetime. But no elimination. That defeats the purpose of life.
Having said that, though, so the last conversation that I had, the last recording we did it on, and hopefully I'm not going to jump the gun here, but we talked about ascension. That was the question. Do you believe in ascension? Do you believe that the world is going through, the earth is going through an ascension, and something big is happening? And so we were talking about that. And if you believe in ascension, if you believe that we all come here with purpose, right? We've all have to come back to figure out something else, good, bad, or the ugly. And the whole goal is to eventually not come back, though. And it's to become those higher vibrational beings, such as the spirit guides, the next level of spirit guides, etc., etc. What an interesting thought. You know, if someone could be eliminated, that would be like literally Harry Potter. And a wand and I don't know, I can't even remember. I was trying to remember one of the things they used to say when, you know, hi, blah, 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 boop. And then you'd be gone. That doesn't make any sense to the purpose. Now, you may not come back because you've done all the ascension that you can do. Okay, I feel like we're about to go into a whole different thing, because now I'm like, okay, where are the newest ascended masters? Anyway, thoughts about that, about ascension being to a level until you just don't come back, not because you've been eliminated, like what the hell, but because you don't come back because you've done the work.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think even in like the human life, there you reach a point, hopefully many people reach a point where they've done all they feel they need to do in this life. So they're ready for whatever comes next. So I think it's maybe kind of the same thing, where it's like you've had your lessons, you've learned, you've ascended, and then I don't know what comes next, if there's a next to it. But I think there's a point, I don't want to say where you're done, but where it's like you can settle or just be or just exist without having to keep going, if that makes sense.
I think honestly, Jennie, jump in anytime, baby. I honestly think you can talk right over me, because I'll do it over you. With love. It's always with love and respect. I believe you can be done. I believe you can be done this journey. Like you can be done coming back here. Mm-hmm. And then what you do, like you sit over there, you know, I channel Kuan Yin. So I do evidential mediumship. I do trance channeling. Mm-hmm. I seem to be like that metaphysical person that just does all these modalities, but I'm a medium first and foremost. And, you know, I channel Kuan Yin. She is my highest master teacher. She is the ascended master I gel with. She's my goddess. So when I channeled her and we were asking questions, you know, we were doing a specific kind of work, and I said, do we always come back? Like, is it just a never-ending repeat? And she was very clear that there is going to be a point where immediately, no, you're not coming back. You're done. There has to be a stop. And I didn't question it. Okay, you're the ascended master. I'm the lowly human here on earth. But I want to take this into a slightly different direction. Jennie, do you want to add anything to that portion?
I kind of want to add something because I was just thinking about it, and I'm thinking we're really right now, especially since COVID, I feel like there's so many enlightened people, like so many people wanting to develop in this manner and go through all this. And I'm wondering, I know a bunch of my past lives, and I'm wondering, is it kind of our roundup? Are we getting ready to be done for the next generation to start? Just a thought.
I can flow with that, baby. I can go with that. It's interesting because you hit something on the nail on the head. Is when you said COVID brought all these new light workers out. And I say this all the time. It's going to be, if my poor people watching, if you've heard it before with me, you're going to hear it a million times. Not everyone is meant to do the work. Everyone can do the work, but not everyone is meant to do the work. And what happens when we have things like big shifts, right? Shifts that people play into. Okay, we talked about this again today in another program. I was like, I wasn't super into 2000. I didn't think anything was going to happen with Y2K. Didn't. I wasn't super into the Mayan calendar thingy. 2012, big deal. Let's keep on going. I didn't buy into any of that. I don't buy into the 5D thing. And people come at me all the time with that. And I'm like, sorry, it just doesn't resonate with me. No one's giving me anything to do with that. So I feel like when all these people have these moments, COVID, right, Adrienne, COVID, and they suddenly become frightened and suddenly they need to do this work. They need to, because they want to help people, because there's so many becauses. There's so many reasons. What happens is we become flooded with fledglings, if you would, like little baby birds whose wings, are not ready to fly yet. And they get caught up in it for the moment. And I think COVID was a good point because they were stuck in front of a computer. There was nothing else to do. You couldn't go anywhere. You couldn't do anything for the most part. I mean, maybe if you were in the States, you were doing all sorts of stuff. But here, we weren't. We were abiding, right? The good little, birdies that we are. And so they were getting caught up, but then they never finished the work.
Well, I think too, what happened is a lot of people, they had to go within because they couldn't go out. They couldn't get other feedback, right? We were very much, like you said, kind of stuck where we were. And it seemed like everything kind of just paused and was at a standstill for that period of time. And I think people started to feel lost and they started to feel, panicky. They started to feel disconnected. And that's when they really started doing a lot of the work and starting to do that work. And then the world came back on, right? Like everything came back online. And then it's kind of like the people who stuck with it are still making great progress, I'm sure. But the people who only did it to kind of maybe fill a void at the time, some of it has teetered off. And I've seen that in a lot of people as well, where it's like, yes, you're doing it, you're making great progress. And then you never hear from them again.
And that's truth, though. I mean, I can think of a lot of people, or they just never progress any further than this one space. I've run a specific circle, and and I think I've run it since COVID started. So it's been going since 2020. Now I've had many circles. I've been doing this work for 23, 25 plus years. So I've had several circles, and this one just seems to be sticking around. And it's not that they're not progressing in it, it's that it's safe. It's where they can practice and build their confidence and their intuition and whatnot. Great. But there are so many people before even COVID that I have been either reading for or I had mentored or I had done some work with that just never made it past a certain point. And that is not because they couldn't. It's because they wouldn't. And because of that, we have all these light workers in a space that, and see, this is what I mean when we go off topic, but we have all these light workers in a space that either need to, there's a horrible saying, so I'm not going to say it. They either need to get it together and do something with it, or what starts to happen is they start to doubt. And they didn't need to doubt. Right? They start to doubt, okay, well, I wasn't meant to do this. It didn't progress. I didn't do it. They also think that this happens overnight. Right?
Yeah. And well, we're in a society where we are given rewards so quickly all the time, right? Like people don't have attention spans. People want dopamine constantly. So fair. I mean, I can't deny that either. So.
Well,
But yeah, I think it doesn't always help things when people expect results tomorrow if you start today.
it's funny because I am that person who sends an email, text, or a text, and I'll be like, "Why hasn't she answered?"
And like with Amazon, like with packages, I'm like, why is my mail not here? I just pressed order.
And the worst thing is you can see if they're typing or not. You can see if they've seen the message, and then you're like, well, why the hell haven't they answered me? Anyway, I want to take this a little bit on a different place. I'm reading this question again. I have these written out for me because I can never remember the whole thing. It always sounds good in my mind, and then I'm like, So let's talk about forgiveness. Because here it says, there is no action so bad that a soul will be eliminated. Well, we've already discussed this, and we're all in agreement that souls don't get eliminated. I mean, I can't even, do I keep seeing Atari? Right? Like, okay, that soul didn't do what they were supposed to do. Because isn't it all a lesson?
Well, I think too, like just the phrase that energy cannot be created nor can it be destroyed. So if it can't be destroyed, souls are a type of energy, I think, right? That's where I'm coming from with that. So yeah, to me, it just doesn't, we're here to be here.
And we're here up there, wherever up there is. I'm not a person that believes in heaven or hell or anything, so I believe in the other side.
Same.
So we're there, and we do what we need to do there. And you know what I was always given from Spirit about what is the other side? You know, when people say to me, what is he doing over there? What is my mom doing over there? What is my brother doing over there? And they always say to me, they are reflecting. They are reflecting. And then they usually ask me, are they with Dad? Are they all hanging out there in a little group? But they are reflecting. They're looking back at what they accomplished in this life and what they didn't. And that will set them up for their next journey. So if they did something really bad here, whatever that is, whatever that something is, because everyone's interpretation of what's bad, it can be different. How are they perceiving that now? In spirit, are they looking back and being like, oh damn, that was some nasty stuff I pulled? And are they going to come back to relive that again and try to fix it? Or are they going to have a completely, none of that we need to know. But the idea that someone is given up upon by universal energy because they did something so bad, who is judging? That's my question. If you don't believe in the religious, organized religious type of God, right? No matter what your religion is, then who is up there judging us? And is the one that says, nah, eliminate her. She did not get it right. Eliminate her. Like,
it's funny you say that. I was talking about this with someone the other day, talking about judgment, and it's us. I think we're just judging. We are our worst judge. We are our judge. We are our jury. And I think that reflection makes so much sense to me, because it's like, yeah, you're the one who's reflecting on what you've done, and then who's judging yourself for it to decide where you go from there. So I don't think there's necessarily one thing or being or essence that's judging us. It's us.
okay, and then that takes me to Jennie. Want to jump in?
No, I don't believe that. My belief is that once a person passes, I believe they go through a reflection period and they look back on all their things. But I think forgiveness and the idea of judgment is a really human concept. I don't think that spirit has time for that or has a need for that. They're past that now.
Okay, so then there's no one who's eliminating. If you go by what Adrienne says, right, which is we are judging ourselves. We are and yeah, for sure we judge ourselves. And there is no one. I don't want to hear none of this spiritual BS, because spiritual BS and me just don't do it. Do not come fluffy at me with all this, everything. Oh my gosh, stop. We are spirits having a human experience. Therefore, we must have the human experience. The spiritual experience is the aftermath. It is, or not the aftermath, it's the afterwards. It is the least important of our journey, no matter what you think. If you're not having the human experience, you are coming back, baby, to do all the things again. I digress. But if we are our own worst judging, and they are saying, they being the question, is bad, naughty, gets eliminated, we'd have to eliminate ourselves. We'd have to be like, well, shit, we were a terrible person this lifetime. That's it. I ain't coming back. Send me to the wherever.
I'm done, right?
Yes. But isn't that fact?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I just don't think that's what we would do. Like, I just don't think we do that.
But if Jennie says, Spirit ain't got no time for us in that sense. They're too busy trying to get us to be smart. Work smarter, not harder. If you humans get it together, then they're not doing it for us. Then there's no one doing it. And just because we judge ourselves does not mean that we are eliminating ourselves. We are saying, because I can't tell you, I cannot think of a person without some humanist mental health issues, if you will, that would be like, well, you know what? I was such a shitty person this life. I don't deserve to come back. Boop.
Same. That's how I feel. Yeah. Like I would be like, okay, I really did a bad job. I sucked. But let me go again. Let me do better this time. Let me learn from that this time. So that's like the elimination. I can't get behind that because like I think there's a part of us that always wants to do better, that wants to learn those lessons. And that's why we keep going through the gauntlet again until we do.
And that's where that whole forgiveness thing comes in again. And again, this is a conversation that was a little bit, in another recording I did with Francis and Lisa. And it was like, okay, forgiveness. I don't know why we were talking about forgiveness. We were talking about ascension. But anyway, forgiveness. Well, forgiveness is different for everyone. But in my world, forgiveness is for me. It's not for the other person. It is for me because it doesn't mean I condone what was done. Okay, doesn't mean I condone what was done. Doesn't mean that I'm like, okay, you know what? You stabbed me and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. I forgive you. You made a mistake. That's not what it means. It means I'm not carrying your bullshit anymore. You're not.
I feel the same thing.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, I've said the same thing to like coaching clients too, where it's like, it's not about them, right? It's like, it's about you. It's something that you have to do for you. Otherwise you carry that burden and that's not your crap to carry. So why?
I think you really have to, if you're going to hold on to it, you just drag yourself back into the past every time you think about it. It's just not worth it.
I'll say this. For those of you that know the trauma that I've been going through for the last 2 years, I don't have it in my heart yet to forgive. I don't. And everyone that will think, okay, Tara, she's a spiritualist, she's a medium, she talks love and light, etc., etc. You should be able to forgive. We are not at that stage yet. And I have no qualms about that. I'm not sitting here going, oh God, Tara, forgive. You should forgive them. You should forgive them. You should let them go. I don't have any qualms about not being ready to forgive. If it's meant to be, it shall be. I can carry the burden in a way that doesn't bring me down to the depths. But I can also forgive in a way that allows me to still feel what I need to feel, which is all the feels, right, Jennie? All the feels. So forgiveness is not just a one all kind of thing. And you can forgive when you're ready. It's like grieving. You grieve until maybe forever. Right? So you can hold on to something as long as it doesn't define you. I mean, I think it should be okay for someone, even though I just did the whole talk about forgiveness, I think you can hold on. It's up to everyone how they hold on to things, right? So, if it defines you, then you've got a problem. But if you can work with it and through it in whatever capacity, that's a different ballgame.
It is 100%, because like there's sometimes people are giving their whole personality or their whole selves to this burden or this baggage or this trauma or whatever it is that you want to call it, right? And I think that's, like you were saying, that's when it becomes a problem, because you're not living for yourself anymore. And that's not why you're here. But just like grief, like it takes time to forgive someone. It takes time to grieve. It takes time to go through the process, and there's no time limit on it. And there's no right way and there's no wrong way. You have to do it in your own space. But I think the point is that you recognize when you need to make that progress and take that step.
I concur. It's one of those things that, again, it comes down to what is bad enough to be considered tossing your soul to the wind, right? Like, what is bad enough? I mean, I know there's a lot of spiritual people out there that are frauds and that are doing this work for all the wrong reasons. And wouldn't that constitute, being a bad person? And do they have to get kicked to the wind?
Well, all the scams in general, like there's just so much of that, right? There's so much division, and there's so many people trying to divide and, promoting hate and things like that. So yeah, you would think that that's a bad thing.
You would think that's a bad thing, right?
But is it is it worth eliminating you for that when you get to try again? No.
That's what I'm trying to say. It's like, is it worth,
No.
And again, it comes down to like, who is or what is the criteria for this elimination game? Are we playing Squid Games, or is that what it's called? Squid Games?
Yeah, okay. That's it.
Or Hunger Games, or what are we playing? Like, what game is this here? Knock the spiritualist off their, I feel that we all deserve a second chance. I feel that in this lifetime even, you make a mistake. Oh my goodness, if the people in my world right now could hear me talking about giving people second chances, they'd probably come at me. But I do believe that in my heart. Not necessarily for the people. I feel like I have to explain this, Jennie. If anyone hears that, not for the people, but if someone makes a mistake, you give them a second chance. You give them an opportunity to redeem themselves in some capacity. And it's their choice whether they do that or not. It is their choice. And maybe they do for a little bit and they fall back again. It's like people with addictions and things like that. It's hard to stop, especially if it's become your personality. Right? Or this is who you are, and now you have to change it. For whatever reason, behavioral patterns, right? Thought processes, belief structures, all those things. So why can't we give a second chance and be okay with that? Why can't we see that moving forward? Why wouldn't the universe, whatever that looks like, whoever's up there, I like to think it's Thor personally. I'm kidding, people. I'm kidding. But whatever's going on up there, right? The ascended masters, the hierarchy of the archangels, what God of your understanding, source, creator, I could go on. But I like to think that they're like, okay, now come on over here, reflect, do your work, take a look at what's happening, and go back and see if you can do better. And go back and see if you can do better.
Like, I kind of find that, okay, so your original question was, and we're talking about how humans judge humans, right? So if the original question is, if you did something so bad, well, to a 90-year-old Christian granny, maybe she stole a pack of cigarettes when she was 14. She's the worst person in the whole world. Or you have like Ted Bundy, and he probably didn't give, AF because he was a serial killer. See, he might even not even think he's a bad person. So when we say, and like, it's like the Marvel blip, like souls get blipped. Like, how does that even happen? But there's so many levels of being a bad person, especially when we judge ourselves first, right? So it's an interesting thing.
Absolutely. And I'm just reading the question again. So I wrote down, no matter what a soul has done in any lifetime. Okay, like, could I have been any broader? Like, okay, so we're going back to I truly believe if we go back to the beginning of this conversation, ladies, and it was, we reflect, we come back until we've learned the lessons. Until we have completed whatever soul journey was meant to be our soul journey. And there we are.
Yeah, I agree 100%. So.
I do. And, you know, we can talk about forgiveness. We can talk about who's judging. We can talk about all these things. But in the end, I believe that if the highest frequency is unconditional love, then that needs to resonate in all dimensions. And that's kind of where I think we should bring this conversation to an end. It was such a cool conversation, though.
Yeah, it's really interesting. Really interesting topic to think about too. And it's funny that you ask it, just because like I've never thought of it. It's not something I've ever sat and pondered, or that I think I would have thought about otherwise. So what an interesting thing to think about.
Well, and the word eliminated. I mean, the way it's affecting me when I say it, even, I find that super interesting. Eliminated. That is a word that went right here. I was like, what do you mean eliminated? Like, eliminated means done. Like, adios amigo. Bye-bye, arrivederci, all those things. That's the only foreign languages I know. And, and literally, that's it. And none of us want to feel like that's it.
Well, it feels so final and so intense.
Exactly. Like none of us want to be like, wait, that's deep and that's dark and that's like a black hole, and we won't come out of them. Oh, yeah. So no one wants that. No one is sitting in that energy for real. So let's just do better. And then maybe we could become the next spirit guides. That's where I like to think. Honestly, if I have to come back again, cool. I'll come back. I'll do what I got to do. But at some point, I want to learn enough and do enough and be enough to be that non-ascended master. I don't need to be an ascended master. That's a whole nother topic I got to write down. Next question. Do you believe in the next generation of ascended masters? Who are they? Oh, I could say some stuff. But I want to just know that there is a continuation until I become, like Adrienne said, I'm done. And now I'm just spirit. And that's good enough. I completed. Maybe I could be an angel. Angel Tara. The angel of tattoos. That'll be me, right? I ladies, thank you so much for both joining me. Adrienne, can you tell us where we could find you, where the listeners and the observers and the spectators could see you are?
Of course. So my website is adrienneamari.com. I'm pretty much Adrienne Amari everywhere. It's not a very common name. So it'll be adrienneamari.com. And then on social media, I do Adrienne Amari Tarot.
Okay, I love it. Thank you so much. Jennie, how can people find you, babe?
Stellar Fae Readings on Facebook and Instagram, or the easiest way is to go to your website and they'll come up in the collective.
That's right. www.spiritessencebytaradiana.com. Go click the collective. It has got these beautiful set of people with the most amazing modalities out there, authentic, loving people. Go check out Adrienne. You're such a beautiful soul. Thank you so much. You are so fun.
Thank you.
I love fun. Fun is like my thing.
Me too.
Friends, please follow my platforms. Everything, as Adrienne said, is all Spirit Essence by Tara Diana on every single platform. Go follow the podcast, Spirit Angels and Guides, oh my, and check out the Patreon. We are upping the Patreon levels, and we are super excited. We want you to be a part of our fan club, and come and check out all the good things that we're doing. Ladies, thank you so much. Have a blessed evening.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much.